mythology, modern mythology, modern mythology.
Love it.
They're talking shit.
Oh, they? Our wives are talking trash? I knew it. Hey, did you hear that voice?
I ain't got no wife.
That's a new voice.
And then the Hounds of Hell joined us.
Speaking of Hounds of Hell, we're going to be talking about some Dark Knight's Metal.
Hounds of Hell!
Yeah. So, in my hands, I hold
the Hound of the Baskerville.
two hardcover books. Dark Knight's Metal, and then I also have the precursor to that, Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Rising. I'm going to use this as a reference. I'm not going to fully cover this. Dark Knight's Rising. But I will.
What is it? Okay, start over. Dark Metal.
Dark Knight's Metal, but then there's Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Rising. So the Dark Knight's Rising. I hate to say this because a lot of it is well written. It's formulaic as fuck. When you read them all together, you kind of just get like, oh, they're just going to do this story and all that. By the way, Luke Moyer joining us today.
Hi, Luke.
On Modern Mythology. But
but I thought you had grown your hair out.
I do want to.
I was like, that's weird.
Wow, he has long hair.
And then you're all of a sudden to the left of me.
Yeah, change spots. We mixed it up.
Yes, I'm Jacob.
So
I'm Jacob.
Again, I will only use the Dark Knight's Rising stuff as frame of reference, but it bothers me because yes, it's formulaic, and this is a problem I've had.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah,
It's like Saturday morning television.
this is a problem I've had in general
Big
with
monster, fight big monster, save the day. You know,
pretty much. Why did this Bruce Wayne became evil? He became evil, okay, and here's the Batman who laughs, and they will show up later in Dark Knight's Metal. That's pretty much all Dark Knight's Rising is. And it's even more frustrating.
Just call it Rising.
I read this first.
Rising.
I read that first as the kind of the precursor to it, and none of these fucking characters matter at all. At all. One of them does, and it's the Batman who laughs. And guess what? He got his whole fucking miniseries out of it because we had to keep cashing in on this Joker Batman. But
it's a pretty cool concept.
It is, and his backstory is cool, and we can
Dude,
talk
he's
about it.
got fucking spikes. Hello.
And he's got little goblins.
Little zombie.
And
zomblins.
And we could talk about the Batman who laughs. The
Tell me about the Batman who
prequel
laughs,
book has his origins.
Jake.
So his origin is
Uh-huh.
that Bruce Wayne kills the Joker finally because Joker slaughters kids, just mows down some kids in front of Batman. And he's like, they were kids, there was a family, that's just too fucking far. So he snaps Joker's neck.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the process,
Which in every iteration of Batman killing the Joker, he snaps his neck. I want something different.
Dark Knight Returns, Joker snaps his own neck. Which is just one of the most fucked up fucking
because the killing
death
joke, I'm
scenes
pretty
ever.
sure it's implied that he.
Yeah.
So
it's
Joker,
very much
Joker
implied.
mocks him because he's like, you couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
You had every reason to kill me, and you just never could. And it's like, well, I'll kill myself as my final joke to you.
Yeah.
You're like, you couldn't kill me. So in that story, he kills Joker, but Joker's final play is that whoever kills the Joker will get infected with Joker toxin and essentially become the next Joker.
How?
Comic books is how.
Because they played the Arkham Knight games.
You can read it and it's described, but the bench basically what it is it's like the Arkham Knight thing where he infects him with a Joker virus pretty much, and it turns him into Joker. Mm-hmm. So it's all the intellect and the detectiveness of Bruce Wayne, but the psychoticness and unhingedness of Joker.
Dope.
Again, yeah, but that's the thing. DC knew they had a cool looking character, so they pushed him to the moon, and then all these other cool designs are just kind of like there. That's it. Like you get in the prequel book. I really think they just made it to be like, hey, see all this cool shit they're doing? You won't see it in Dark Knight's Metal, but you'll see it here. So you'll care. You'll care when they show up on the panel, and then when they get fucked, you're like, and do nothing. You're like, well, they were a cool character design though. That's my biggest indictment on Dark Knight's Metal. As a whole, I enjoy this book. It's a fun book, but it gets so mired in this corporate bullshit of. Again, let's introduce a Flash Batman, a Batman that was Ares, a Batman that's Doomsday. Cool, those are really cool. How much are we going to get of those? Not that much, because we got to focus on the fucking Joker Batman. I told you, we're focusing on fucking Joker Batman, okay, everybody? That's editorial. But
anyway,
to understand,
because the Joker is the greatest villain in all of cinema.
I know.
And Batman is arguably the number one
and I'm not
hero
gonna
in cinema.
I'm
so
not
therefore, they have to fucking take the two biggest cash grabs they have, make them into a baby, push it and push it.
Well, and
until that baby poops out.
The Batman Who Laughs isn't the problem. I like the character, right? But I feel like it's not the character's fault. It's the publisher who decides to like just push this guy to the moon, and then you're kind of over it. You're like, whatever. So, Luke, what do you know about nth metal in the DC universe? Tyler, what do you know about?
Isn't that what steel's made of, or is steel actually made of
steel? Steel plays a part in this story. He does.
He does have nth metal.
Yeah. So in this,
why does he call himself Steel?
Okay.
I know it's the. I didn't know that. I know
Why
it's
does
the
he call himself
Well, it's
Thanagarians.
probably like a new 52.
It's the
Jack Diesel.
Hawkman and Hawkwoman are Thanagarians, and that's
Yes.
their metal.
That's important. That's right. Thanagar. So
I knew that
here's what you need to know. The
knew
two
that shit.
two basically.
I didn't know that about Steel.
The two important characters, most important
Why does he
characters.
call himself Steel?
The two most important characters
Diesel.
of this book are Batman and Hawkman.
Yeah, it's like
So
Papa John's.
when you have a title named Metal, you either have two options. You make it about
Send
heavy
him
metal, or
chaperone.
you keep interrupting me, or you make it about both, where it's heavy metal music and actual metal.
That's what I thought it was. Heavy metal. It was like
That's
Mad Max.
most
and
of
they're
what I
riding
thought
shit
when it
on
was-
dragons and planes.
When it
Yeah.
was first coming out, I was still reading CBR a lot, so I kept reading like little snippets about those, and I thought it had something to do with like Judas Priest and shit.
That's a great panel.
Yeah.
Well, no, and this
The
book
drawing,
is
artwork
this
is
is
great.
steep. This is
Fantastic.
a
Well, it's
weird
Greg
book
Capullo.
because it's steeped in weird lore because it's tying back to Scott Snyder's DC Batman run, which was around the New 52. But when this is published, this is like 2018. This is post New 52, post Rebirth even. And so it's kind of mired in this weird continuity because it's really this is like the big final hurrah of Snyder's Batman run, what he did with Capullo, which was a big deal because they got Greg Capullo to come back to draw the book.
Yeah.
But
He's awesome.
it is steeped in this weird lore. And luckily for me, doing this show, doing Off-Panel Off-Topic, doing Modern Mythology, doing all this stuff, I was able to navigate it. But if you're someone that doesn't really know much about DC stuff, like you kind of might be a little lost in some things. But because Scott Snyder is such a good writer, even the most niche shit in this book, because there's a lot, he does a really good job of explaining it.
Well, I remember reading some of his Death in the Family stuff, or Death of the Family, I think it was.
Yeah, I have the trade over
where the Joker pretends to remove all their faces. During that dinner party. It's fucking insane.
So-
You're just like, it comes out to be like a, but we read, that's the problem I have with DC all the time is how many reboots and just.
It's always a crisis every couple of years.
we just read, we just read Space Age, and the cutoff is
Superman
1985, Superman Space Age, and the cutoff is 1985. And I realized right when we started reviewing it that's when the first reboot happened, which is a Crisis on Infinite Earths. But what did they do? New 52 and Rebirth, within 2 years of each other?
Yeah, well,
It's like
so
Tech Night-
New 52 lasted for about 5 years. So it was like 2011 to 2016, and then Rebirth was I don't know because there's Future State and shit. I don't know where we are in current DC canon.
The multiverse of DC is
point is this.
bonkers.
Shut up, and strap in for the ride. That's what this book tells you multiple times. Shut the fuck up. This is cool. Is what this book does. And you know what? It's right. Because all that preamble, and it's just I don't care. At the end of the day, Snyder is a great writer, and I love his shit, and I love everything.
There's something to
this
be
guy
said for fun comic books. Absolutely.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They're in fucking medieval garb. How do you not think that shit looks cool? But anyway,
No, I want
so
to read
nth
it.
metal. Here's why nth metal is important in this story because there are nth metal just meant to the nth degree. There was nothing to it.
Yeah. No,
Snyder
I know,
comes
I
along
know.
and says, "No,
You ever
no."
heard of Nth Man?
Says, "No. For this story, it's the ninth metal. It is nth metal, but it's also the ninth metal, and it is tied to Thanagarians. The problem is in this story, and we'll find out. There are 3 characters that are holding nth metal, and that seems to be the only thing to fight off these dark multiverse characters.
Yep.
And it's Steel, Dr. Fate, and Hawkman. Those are the three.
Yeah, isn't that what his helmet's made out of? His nth metal?
Dr. Fate, yeah.
Wow.
And then
Dr.
Steel,
Fate
yeah, it's Steel
is
at this point in continuity.
Under-
If they could,
Fucking rated.
if James Gunn can keep Brosnan,
Oh.
dude, that's
So-
the only thing that I would be like.
Now I'm a dorky purist, and I totally wanted the fucking helmet with the eye slits and shit. But what they did in Black Adam was, I'm okay with that.
And it's crazy that that was the best part of that entire fucking movie.
Okay, so
The
this
movie
book,
had so much shit.
this is
so
what I
much
love about this
savage.
book. So this starts with a prologue of just fucking Justice League adventures. It does play a part to the story later, but when you first read it, it's like, oh, it's this. You think it's going to lead to what's more of, this is a part of the story. No, it's just a cool little cold open to get you acclimated with how Snyder's going to write these characters. So they're fighting in this like gladiatorial pit, and there's this big like robot that's coming after him, and it starts to wrap. It opens his mouth and wraps its tentacles around Batman and starts to pull him in. But he goes, follow him. Everybody's freaking out, and he goes, let it eat you. And everybody's freaking out because the toy maker made this. Everybody's freaking out, and they're like, no, don't do this. And he's like, no, listen to me. Let it eat you. It has your logos inside of it. He made this for us. Fulcrum abominus, like something that defies the order of things. In Fulcrum, from the late Roman period, a warrior formation cry made from deep in the throat, a call to lock shields. So he's saying, get eaten by these. Toymaker designed us to do this. And then they turn into this fucking Voltron-looking robot and fight this guy. And he goes, and Flash goes, why am I the foot? And he goes, simple, Barry, so you can kick his, and then it's title card. And that's it. They're done on that adventure. We're going back to Earth, and then we're going to start the whole event of Dark Knight's Metal. It was just like this cool little, like, oh, look at this fun stuff. It plays later in the story. So essentially what happens is they go back to Earth, and they see all this shit happen. Because while they were doing that, the Dark Knight's Metal, like the Dark Knight's Rising was happening. So what was happening was this god, Barbatos. I'm not making that up. That's his name. He is the ruler of the dark multiverse. So in the DC canon, there's 52 multiverses. But Snyder is saying, well, from those multiverses, underneath it is a dark multiverse where all the bad things happen. And that's the negative space of the multiverse. So that guy who runs that, Barbatos, is trying to essentially sink the DC universe into the dark multiverse. He's literally trying to pull the Earth down into his multiverse. And that all gets put in place, and that's how we have the Dark Knights. We have his favorite, the Batman Who Laughs, goes around and is rounding all of them up because their multiverses always die. Because when evil is running a multiverse, it always ends badly. Everybody dies. Everything dies almost all the time. And he's like, well, that happened here, but if you come with me, it's going to be better. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We can take over a whole new universe, man. It'll be totally fine. So they're like, okay, that sounds cool. Let's do that. So also, this is what I love about Snyder. He puts the Challenge of the Unknown, which was is like DC's Fantastic Four, pretty much.
Yeah, Challengers of the Unknown.
Challengers of the Unknown. He uses the mountain in this. So, the mountain is where all the shit goes down in the story. Like, they're climbing up that mountain to get Barbatos, get to him. So they go to the Challenge of the Unknown. They see a big door, and they're like, wait, what's happening? It's chasing us. There's, like, all these messages of things that have been leading up to this, of, like, there's something worse than I thought. And then we get introduced to Blackhawk, a.k.a. Kendra Saunders, another...
Oh, the World War II ace.
Yes, she, like Carter Hall, is Hawkgirl. So she, like the Thanagarians, keeps reincarnating every time she dies. So we're currently on Blackhawk, Kendra Sanders.
Hawkman has the most convoluted and dumbest origin.
Hawkman, because
reincarnated to go get the
first
he always keeps going after the Nth metal.
First, he's an incarnation. His first iteration was a reincarnation of an Egyptian god. Yeah. Then he became an alien from the world Thanagar. Then they somehow combined the two.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
That's
weird. A different thing. That's a different guy. Oh, but it's also this guy. Yeah.
Out.
It's constantly reincarnating, and it's, like, weird. Yeah. Oh, but again, Carter Hall plays a huge factor in this story because he is the narrator of the story. Because Kendra explains in this sequence that he went into the dark multiverse and for his quest for knowledge, because Carter Hall he calls himself like Batman. He calls himself a detective.
Sure.
He wants to adventure on. So they come back to Earth.
Plastic Man?
Yeah, I'll explain in a minute.
Come on.
So anyway, they show up. They go into. They talk to Sandra. She explains them the dark multiverse, like explained to you guys, and she wants to keep Batman prisoner because Batman is the piece to the puzzle. Barbados wants Bruce Wayne because Wayne is Wagon, and Bruce Wayne is the door. So essentially, what they're trying to say is because this is what I love about Snyder. He ties into the fucking Grant Morrison Batman run, and when he got hit by the Omega beams, and he goes through time. Remember, he went back to. I told you about that storyline. Luke is just like, "What the fuck is going on with this story?"
I don't know.
So he goes back in time, and according to this story, when he went back in time, that is when Barbatos saw him and knew about him, because there's a prophecy that Bruce Wayne will be the door to bring in the dark multiverse. And while this is happening, the Justice League is arguing with Kendra because she's like, "We got to keep him prisoner." And like, wait a minute, hold on, we don't need to do this. While this is happening, Red Tornado has been caught up. Here, he's in a little containment unit. He breaks out and he goes, because in these books, the Dark Knight Rises books, we find out that Red Tornado also went to the dark multiverse, and he knows about Bruce Wayne being the doorway. So when they show up with Bruce Wayne, he gets pissed, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? I warned you. You brought him. He's the doorway." So they're like freaking out. And while that's happening, Batman escapes. Because everybody's fighting. Batman runs off on his fucking little dinosaur, runs away.
Where does he get a dinosaur?
Who cares? Comic books. Moving on. Do you want me to tell you where they're at? I don't know where the fuck they're at.
Oh, so they're on another planet. Okay, that checks. Okay,
They're in the south. By the way, they're on an island in the South Pacific, and there's apparently a fucking raptor there for no reason. Who cares? Comic books. Moving on.
It's because it's a whole thing.
So yeah, Batman tries to escape because Batman's a dick.
Where Wild Boys
Let that
from.
be. I want that to be very clear. I love Batman. I love all of that shit. But I want to be very clear. Batman is a dickhead.
Oh yeah.
Because he's told this great prophecy in this book that, hey, you're the doorway. Don't mess with this shit. And because he can't help himself, he goes, I gotta go back home. Before this even happened, he was doing research on it in this other Batman thing. So he runs back home because he's like, fuck this guy. And while this is happening, we get narration. And also, the book started 20 million years ago with this lizard. We see this lizard again to signify that, Carter Hall is involved. So Carter Hall goes on this narration, and he says, Barbados has been after this target since the dawn of man. He first saw him final moment of crisis. Wink. And now, if you are reading this, a second moment is upon us. I have left this journal for you in your house, the house of the family I trust most. The turned from the tribe bat to tribe bird, the Waynes. And as this is happening, there's a sound like that in the house. And he goes over and he sees a bat symbol with a there's like a phone vibrating. So that was Hawkman. That was the sign from the journal, because Batman couldn't find Hawkman's journal, which was really funny. It was like, it was in your house the whole time, dummy. But world's greatest detective, my ass. Yeah. But so he says, I have left this journal for you in this house, blah, blah, blah. Left it in a secret place that will make itself known to you through metal. Should I be wrong? Should energy from the dark rise to foretell the coming of Barbados, you may feel it coming already, and you may feel it from your whole life, watching, shaping in the dark, the final case. And I give this journal for you a simple reason, to say that I'm sorry that I was wrong, and I'm sorry for everything coming. So even Carter Hall is like, hey, man, we're fucked. So then Dream from Sandman shows up.
Ooh.
To talk to because he was talking to him this whole time, and he's explaining him the dark multiverse stuff. Next issue. We're flying through space with Superman because he's trying to find Batman. Because Batman ran away, and everybody's trying to find him in the Justice League to be like, hey, Batman, what the fuck? And he's like, fuck you. So then they chase him in the Mog, but like, no, this is what I love about they literally are scouring the whole DC, like the whole world. Because Green Arrow's in Gorilla City, the House of Mystery, you see Constantine and fucking Zatanna, LexCorp, everywhere. They can't find him. So they finally find him in the Amazon rainforest. But you see, like, he's got this big-ass bat tank. The bat family's with him. But then also because Snyder, at this point, Snyder's Batman has like this masking tech. So like there's 6 Batman. Or like 5 or however many in the fucking Batman. But all of them look like Batman. So they're trying to figure out who the real Batman is while they're chasing him down. And one of the best jokes I think of this was
What'd you do?
I bumped your mic, I apologize.
Oh my God.
One of the best jokes was he goes, I find a family, I have one on the line. Now all I have to do is reel him in, and it's fucking Aquaman, and he gets shot away, and Aquaman goes, fish jokes? Really? In the moment like this. So then they finally catch the Batman, and they surround him, and then they find out it wasn't Batman, it was Dick Grayson. With his shit. And they're like, son of a bitch!
And Superman with his X-ray vision didn't know.
At the microphone, like.
But here's the best part. They corner him, and Green Lantern was like, listen up, Nightwing, I know it's you, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you need to fucking come with us. And then he goes, all right, Nightwing, you win. And then he pulls out a little flower. And this is where I love it. I say what this book is convoluted sometimes, and then there's sometimes, and it doesn't
Sometimes.
and then there's sometimes I'm just like, I fucking love that. I love that Snyder loves the DC universe as much as I do, because Nightwing pulls out a flower. Who would be upset about a flower if it was, say, to be lit on fire? Who do you think of the DC universe would be pissed? Motherfucking Swamp Thing shows up and attacks him because he burns this flower and causes a fire, and then Swamp Thing just shows up and goes, who dares mess with the green? So he attacks the Justice League. That just buys him more time. And then eventually Superman pulls Batman out of the bat tank. Pulls
cool.
Batman out of the bat tank, and they're arguing, and eventually Superman just punches a hole through Batman's chest because it was Clayface. Huh. So also at this point,
Batman's just getting all the stops to help fucking keep him
at
away from them.
this point in the DC canon,
That's
some reason, for some way or another, Clayface is a part of the Bat family. I don't know why. Don't ask. Move on.
Because he's a
Fuck you, comics. Fuck you, comics. We're moving on. All right. So then we go to
same way that Harley was for a while too.
So we go to the Antarctic lava pits with Kendra. We're following
Antarctic lava pits.
Did you just say Kendra?
We're following Kendra to the Legion. Look at that. Even this cute little visual of the Legion of Doom. She's at the Legion of Doom headquarters.
Cool.
So
I like Legion of Doom.
So she's hanging out with the
Super Friends.
Yeah.
Challenge of the Super Friends.
So she's hanging out with the they call themselves the Immortals. Which look, there's Ra's al Ghul in there.
Ra's al
Ghul. Well, tell that to fucking Kevin Conroy, my Batman.
Can I see? Like,
No. Because I want to. Okay, I couldn't remember if they mentioned a character's name or not. So they meet up, and they pretty much are like, yeah, this
was it fucking Vandal Savage?
Yeah, I think it was Vandal Savage, actually.
Vandal Savage.
So, yeah, the whole thing with that is they're pretty much like, well, you didn't fucking kill him? Like, we got to kill him. And then, yeah, there's a little cameo of Raish being like, I messed with the detective, and I don't think he would do these things, blah, 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 blah. So, well,
there's the Stranger.
Yeah.
And Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
Good job, Luke.
Let me see.
Hold on. I'll go back. I want to go.
See it.
No.
Yeah, will you let us...
Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
This is show and tell, and you're not doing a very good job of showing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I'll cut that out. But what I...
Yeah, no, leave it in.
No, I wanted you guys to salute it. I want to make sure I was in the right place. But, so after she has that conversation with the Immortals, we're like, well, we need to figure some shit out. They finally find Batman, and he has baby Doomsday, or baby Darkseid. Again, fuck, just shut up. It's comics.
Can I see it?
Yeah. So Dream is talking to him from Sandman, which, by the way, kind of spoils Sandman because Daniel's Dream in this.
Huh?
But so they're having this conversation about what's happening, and he keeps saying like he keeps trying to get Dream to help him, and he's just like, should I do that? And then Dream's like, hold on. All right.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So we find out that he is in the Valley of Kings in the tomb of Prince Khufu to find baby Darkseid, because at some point in in comics, Darkseid's a baby. I don't know why.
That's historical accuracy, actually.
So he finds Darkseid.
A little bit about ancient Egypt.
And they're like, what the fuck are you doing, Bruce? And he's like, they're like, you're not doing the right thing, not by a long shot. Now give us that bag, because he has baby Darkseid in it.
Wait, why is Darkseid in Egypt?
He'll explain this.
Why is he a baby?
fuck you, comics. Again, I don't know why at some point in this continuity he's a baby. I don't know.
Jack Kirby's spinning in his
It doesn't
grave.
matter because it doesn't play that much into
It's
the.
not the way I made him.
I
God
didn't-
bless it. He
I
was
didn't-
never a baby.
I didn't research it because there's no point because this is literally all he is in the
That's
story.
fair.
He
That's
just
fair.
exists in this one scene.
Okay.
But he's like, I'm here to use him, and the reason he goes after this baby is because he wants him to Omega blast him again. Because he's like, I'm gonna go back in time and get Barbados at the beginning of time. And luckily, his friends are there to say that's stupid, and we're not doing that plot. So we're not doing
It's
that.
Batman, so why not trust him?
And they're not doing that because guess who shows up? The motherfucking Court of Owls show up and attack Batman because Zack Snyder was like, I gave you guys such a cool character and you guys didn't do shit with him, so I'm going to put him in this for a second. Only
Scott
a second.
Snyder, not
don't
Zack.
don't get caught up on them being there because they're
What
just.
is this Batmanium? What?
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Is that one of the
We'll
medals?
let's tie. You're right. Let's go back.
No, let's.
No,
just-
because I got to explain this because it's crucial to the story.
Is it?
It is.
Yes.
Because
You talked about 9
in
medals.
Snyder's run, Batman dies, and then he like finds his way. He has to get back to he when he comes back alive. There's a certain element that is made, and they call it Batmantium. And it's like, is it a joke? Yeah, a little bit, but it's also like these people worship Batman. I don't fucking know. We're moving on.
Is it one of the 9 medals?
Also, we were not in the correct tomb. Batman was tricked. We are in the tomb of Hathset, and that is where the Court of Owls show up. And the Court of Owls, what point do they play?
Death.
But they're just there to say, yeah, we agree, and Barbados, we cut a deal with all the villains in this. Were like, we cut a deal with Barbados, so we're gonna fucking bring the Dark Multiverse, whatever. When that's happening, when the Court of Owls get him, they do the ritual to make him into the doorway. And that's like the art in this book is gnarly. Like, look at that. Like this like galaxy looking Batman with like the weird pink like goo. So what's happening is they're turning Bruce into the doorway. And they're opening the door to the dark multiverse. So they tricked him this whole time. This was part of their plan. And this is what I think is funny about this book is constantly every time the heroes think they have the upper hand, they don't. Because they're dealing with a group of Bruce Waynes, they always like Barbados and the Batman Who Laughs and all them like this is all every time they think they know what they're doing they show up and fuck them up because they're like yeah we know this is part of our plan. So anyway, this is the big moment. This is the big money shot. So the Bat God comes and they're doing their chant, "Hail Barbados! He will reward us. He will chain the world and we shall rule with him." And I see something. Look, And then, boom, it's these 3, like, grotesque goblin-looking robins that jump out of this portal.
The Roblins.
And they just
The
say,
Zomblins.
here's what they say. You're going to love this, Luke. They're munching on these Court of Owls dudes, and they're saying, crow, 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 crow. And they say that when they attack. They just say, crow, 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 and they attack. What's their safe word? Bar. Crow, bar. God damn it, I love Scott Snyder. So, yeah, the Batman Who Laughs says bar. That's right. Heel, boys. And then Wonder Woman's like, Bruce, where is he? And then like giant font, you want Bruce Wayne? Look around. And it's all the fucking Batman. And I'm like, God damn it. What a waste. So, and this is why we have the other book. This is Batman the Drowned. This is a female, Bryce Wayne, who turns herself into and who goes through experiments on different like Atlantean creatures to allow herself to breathe underwater. So she turns herself into an Atlantean pretty much.
Cool.
We've got the Batman Who Laughs with his 3 Robin.
Yeah, we already know about it.
We've got Batman. I think it's. Let me look up the name here. Batman the Merciless, who's a Batman who wears the helm of Ares. We've got this guy over here, Batman the Red Death, who's a Flash Batman. Then we've got a Green Lantern Batman, the Dawnbreaker, which has the coolest name of the bunch, I think. And then we also have a cyborg Batman, Batman the Murder Machine. And then we have a Doomsday.
The Murder Machine?
Yeah, and then we have
Why the Murder Machine? Bruce Wayne
Batman-
doesn't kill.
Batman the Devastator.
More like Bruce Wayne.
So, I'm going to put this down.
Batman
I'm
the
going to put this down for a second. Yeah.
Oh, my Jesus.
So, this will be quick. So here's a brief rundown of all these guys. Batman Who Laughs, I already told you his backstory. Batman the Dawnbreaker is essentially what if Bruce Wayne, when his parents died, got a Green Lantern ring. And they play with that idea, but his special thing is he's the opposite of light. He is when he wants to do his Dawnbreaker shit, he turns it into complete blackness, and then just allows these crazy constructs of like demonic, gnarly, gross things because that's what's in his head. The ring itself did not agree to be a part of this. Like the ring kept trying to get away from him, but his willpower is so fucking strong he overpowers the ring every time.
Dope.
And the reason he kills Joe Chill in this, or how he does it, is the willpower he had no. They said he got the ring because he had no fear. It was all willpower. Like he was gonna kill that guy. And so then,
where is all this Batman killing shit coming from? Batman doesn't kill.
This is the dark
from
multiverse.
1989.
Tyler, this is why, because it's the dark multiverse. It's not. These are all villains. None of these are hero Batman. They're all bad guys.
Oh,
yeah. So we got to set them all up.
Should have said that at the beginning.
I mean, isn't it obvious? They're
No.
bringing in the dark multiverse.
No.
So yeah, I mentioned the Batman who drowned. Her world is covered in water, but she decided, I'm gonna learn how to fight.
Ooh, is
in
that
water.
a Lady Aquaman?
Yeah, Lady Aquaman.
Lady Aquaman.
Hot. I'd watch that.
Yeah, she did did surgery on herself to turn herself part fish.
That's not.
And yeah, each
Worth
time, guess who
it.
shows up? Batman Who Laughs, and he's like, "Hey, bitch, hey, baby." So then we get a look at that. But this is what I mean. This, throw it, means fucking nothing. Because those Batmen just show up to punch shit. That's it. And also, I don't understand how this whole canon works, because this comes also with Dark Knight's Metal: The Wild Hunt, which is a prequel to this book, Dark Knight's Metal, but the Reverse Flash is redeemed in that story, but he still shows up in this story. So, what happened?
As a bad guy?
Yeah, he's still a bad guy.
Reverse Flash is probably the greatest.
So what you're saying is that DC continuity is
Most
so
pity.
convoluted upon itself that it is fucked.
Yeah,
And you can do whatever you want with it, and
Barbados in
continuity
the background.
doesn't mean anything.
No, because this is essentially just another Crisis. This is just a different title for it.
Okay.
Oh, so the next issue 3, starts with a cool moment of Jonathan Kent and Damian playing the Batman theme, but it's metal, so they're playing it together. I'm like, that's kind of cute.
And then you start doing the
so
Save
Bruce-
Me from the Smallville series.
Save me
So
from the small
Bruce is
Bill
like, hey guys, I just want
series."
you to know I'm always grateful for you, and I don't say that enough. I love you, Diana, and Soup. This book is about the friendship of the Trinity, and it's kind of why I love it so much. Because Snyder himself said this is a book about friendship and believing in your friends and helping you through the worst, darkest times, and relying on others to help you, and like not isolating yourself. And he says, I love you, and all this stuff, and then he says, I might not be the most eloquent, but from at least it's from my heart, I went for it, right? I mean, carpe diem, and as he's saying that, there's like a bloody bat symbol on it, on Bruce's chest. It was a dream. And then we see another one where he goes, because then Barbados' arm just shoots out of Bruce's gut with blood and guts, and it just grabs Bruce Wayne, and it's holding him, and now he's like this giant bat god. And he's like, we beat you. And he's like, again, because I let you. You can't stop me. I'm back at house. So then he goes, oh, yeah. And then just look at the art with, like, all the horsemen coming in and Batman Who Laughs. And then, like, yeah, it all happens, Clark. The only truth is, in the end, all roads lead back to darkness. That is a phrase. Take a drink every time you hear me say that in this goddamn story, because it is said so much. At one point, Superman even goes, save it. When somebody starts all roads, he goes, save it. I want to hear it. So Bruce was in a dream, and he was strapped up to because essentially what Barbados is doing is he's using all the people like the Matrix, he's using them as a battery to create the machine that will pull the Earth into the dark multiverse. And Superman snaps out of it, and he's like, I know it's a dream, but I know Bruce is alive, and I know where to go. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'll explain it later. It's stupid. But anyway,
Martha.
so he goes to Gotham City, where the challenge of the unknown mountain is, and he says, "My God!" And that's where we see Barbatos surrounded by Joker dragons because it looks cool in comics. Tyler is like going through a range of emotions. How you feeling, Luke? You enjoying yourself?
I just keep thinking like I should probably read this. It's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Nothing that you're saying surprises me at all. I'm just, where the fuck are the editors on this fucking book, man? I mean, like
when
hey,
you got a name
no.
like Snyder, you don't have an editor. You just let it happen.
That's probably.
Oh
fair.
yeah, I mean,
probably like
Snyder can do
like
whatever the fuck
Hickman
he
at
wants.
Marvel, yeah.
So anyway,
Hey, you know what though? I gotta admit, Joker dragons.
Superman fights
No, yeah,
Doomsday
it's-
Batman and loses, and he gets knocked down into the snow. And Batman Who Laughs shows up, and the other Batman show up to surround Superman and beat him up a little bit. And then as that's happening, the symbol for Dark Fate Dr. Fate shows up.
Dude, Dark Fate would be a cool run.
The Ankh.
The Ankh, and then Flash zips out, grabs Superman, and takes him back through the portal to save him before all the evil Batman kill him. And then so they go
How are
to
the evil Batman gonna kill Superman?
one of them's
Well,
literally
one of them
is literally Doomsday. Like he
One of them has
himself.
done it or come close to it.
He
so
injected himself
so
with
5
what?
of them.
He created a Doomsday virus essentially, and then turned himself into Doomsday and fought Superman. So then they go to this little bar that's like kind of in the middle of nowhere. The Oblivion bar.
The Oblivionalum.
And
The
there's
umbrella.
where this cool ass fucking Nightwing pops in. Also, this is again why I hate comic books. For more on Jon Snow, Nightwing, read Dark Knight's Metal: The Resistance. Fuck you. All right, next part of the story.
Did you just say Jon Snow?
Yes,
Nightwing?
great way to date your book, DC. This is what everybody says because it's like, say 10 years from now, somebody might not get who the hell. Like nobody's, he doesn't know. Do you know who Jon Snow is?
So dumb.
Game of Thrones.
They even spelled it the same way.
No, it's directly a reference
So
to Jon Snow. in the-
fucking Snyder, you should be.
No, he didn't
ashamed.
do that. Editorial wrote that.
Are you
Which-
sure?
It
which-
says it's an
Well, who
editorial note.
Did
He's
he approve of the Jon Snow Nightwing?
not an editor, damn it.
It would be a cool thing to read if it wasn't for the fact that they called it what it is.
Dude. Now imagine how I feel, and I can only imagine how. And I got these from the library. Imagine if I were someone that fucking bought this
Oh, bullshit.
useless
Ugh.
paperweight
Fuck
that is the
you,
Dark
DC.
Knight Rising. Here's why: because all that shit I was the Murder Machine, his backstory is explained in one panel. The Doomsday Batman story is explained in one panel. All these backstories are explained in a panel. So why did I need to read the fucking book? This is what I hate because
Are any of those stories good?
they're all right.
What?
They're one shots. What do you want, man? One shots are rarely like, oh my god, I'm nutting.
Hey,
Anyway,
that Venom the End was fucking classic.
I'm
man.
not saying all one shots are bad,
Well, you kind of did.
but this is just what
I want
So
more
yeah,
one
he
shots.
explains that the Batman murder machine infected Detroit with nano Alfreds. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. So Batman the murder machine, he creates an army. Don't worry. You know what? I'm not going to explain it because it doesn't matter to the story. We'll just move
What the
on.
fuck are we talking about?
Nano
Nano
Alfreds.
Alfreds.
So, oh god, here, let me pull it up.
If only-
Hey, I got the source
Dude.
material.
just let me look
No,
at it
I'll,
while
I'll,
you.
I'll get you the.
They have to
issue.
they have to say like Butler responses as they're doing shit.
They
So,
do.
like,
They fucking do. Todd, you gotta read that one because I'm sorry, I popped the mic, but they do.
Is everybody,
May I help
why
you,
is
sir?
somebody's
That is
trim way
a-
up there?
May I help you, sir?
I
May
trained
help
his
you,
up
sir?
because
May I
his
help you,
voice
sir?
was low.
I got
Stop.
you, I got you.
Hey,
Sorry.
stop it.
Don't touch my board.
my soundbar.
Don't touch my board.
He
Those
does.
are my
He
settings.
shows up and says, "How can I or may I help you, sir?"
May I help you, sir? May I take your hat, sir?
Oh yeah, so
That's a fucking.
But here's what's great
band
about
name,
it. So
dude.
Alfred shows
May I
up.
take your
So the
hat,
reason
sir?
he creates the Alfred nanobots is because Alfred gets murdered in this one, in the Murder Machine
That's
story.
sad.
Also, but he takes the technology that he was using to make these like AI Alfreds and stuff, and he turns it into a
Can I
cyborg.
just see
suit.
it?
And he kills Cyborg, and
Are
then
there,
him and this
Are
Alfred
there like
are
little Alfreds?
yeah, they're like hologram looking fucking
What
Alfred.
in the shit?
Doesn't matter. Fuck you, comics. We're moving on. Oh, yes. It's not Plastic Man who has the... I was wrong, Tyler. You know who else has the Nth metal?
Mr. Elastic.
Plastic Man. And he turned himself into an egg because the Dark Multiverse was messing with him and trying to like he turned himself into an egg to fight off all the dark minions trying to take him to the dark multiverse. Fuck you, comics.
Fuck.
I know they are sometimes. I'm like, I love this shit, and then I'm reading it. I'm like, wait, why is he an egg? What is this? So at this point, the heroes come to the realization that the only thing that seems to hurt the dark multiverse characters is the nth metal. So there's 10 metals in the DC universe now. 8th metal is Wonder Woman's, like the metal of the gods. And then nth metal is like the Thanagarian metal that like what was the term? I had it pulled up here. I think there's a certain special.
What's that ship?
That's his murder. That's his satellite. That's Batman's satellite that he turns into that.
See, this was
metal
a really
is gravity
cool
negative.
fucking story, man. Yeah, that's how they fly.
It's a shame it means nothing in the grand scheme of Dark Knight's metal.
That's fucking stupid.
I mean, I get it because this book is already juggling so many fucking characters that I just don't think it could handle it. But it's like,
So
then why go through the effort of making it like that? And then
You know what? Here's what I'll say.
because they
want
want to sell a
Here's
toy.
what I'll say
That's
about
what it is. It's
Here-
toys.
Hang on. Here's what I'll say about it. A lot of artists and writers got work because of these books
Yeah.
to flesh out these
They're
characters.
not bad.
They got paid. They can go to conventions and stuff. It helps the economy and whatnot. I just feel bad for the consumer
Yeah.
who had to buy all the shit and knowing later that it meant nothing.
Do you think the person that donated
Did
this?
these come out after that though?
I'm pretty sure that came out before Metal.
Are you sure? Because
I don't know, man. There's so many fucking
Well,
tie-ins.
sometimes they come out with stuff, and then you're like, okay, I don't necessarily have to buy it.
Right, and they happen before the event. They happen during the event. Like, there's so many tie-ins.
If these came out after that, then I'm okay with that because then it's on the consumer to, you know what I mean?
So
like,
one of the
I don't
Robins
need this.
So one of the Robins shows up at the Oblivion bar, so they have to
Oblivion.
escape. So they split up. So Dr. Fate, Kendra, and Wonder Woman go to Balaya.
Bialia.
Green Lantern, Mr.
BIA.
Bollywood.
Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and the Plastic Egg go to.
Where is it? We're Bialia, right?
It doesn't matter. I don't care about those.
No, it's from Justice League International.
true.
No.
I know.
It's the queen.
So
chick
Space
and stuff like
Space
that.
Sector 2682 is the Polaris system. That is where Thanagar is. And Green Lantern the whole time is like, it's kind of my job to be a space cop. I didn't know where the fuck Thanagar was. Like, I feel like he keeps talking shit. And Mr. Terrific's like, they've been hiding that from everybody, man. So it's okay.
Mr.
Well,
Terrific's the smartest man.
I-
alive.
Also, we have Deathstroke going with Aquaman
Oh.
down into Atlantis because there is Unth metal in down deeper, like farther than Aquaman's ever gone in the depths of Atlantis. And
Well,
they
then
gotta
how
go
the
down there.
fuck is Deathstroke going with him? Aquaman's
He's got
body is
an
made.
oxygen mask.
It's
Fuck
pressure.
What'd I say? Fuck you, comics.
Also, in the Invasion storyline in the 90s that took
Also-
place over the entire DC universe, everybody knew where fucking Thanagar was.
So Steel. Yeah, who knows what continuity this is? So
We're on
Steel.
a third
So
reboot
Steel,
here, so-
Superman, and Flash go to the Fortress of Solitude to help out Steel because
That's kinda cool.
he's one of the few people that has oomph metal on him.
Steel.
Yeah.
Why didn't they be called
Shakaroni?
So Steel straps himself to
Handful of pepperonis. Look at this hand.
God, I forgot about that. Okay, so there's also like a tuning fork because you can communicate through multiverse with sound and like vibrations and music and all that.
Right.
So get it because metal. So anyway, Superman straps up. So Steel.
Can you hear me?
Steel decides he's gonna help Superman open a portal to
45th dimension.
He's gonna strap him up to this machine in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's gonna open a portal into the Dark Multiverse. Because Superman's like, I know he's in the Dark Multiverse.
Who?
Bruce.
Oh,
And he's like, I'm gonna pull him out. I had to think for a second. There's so much shit going on.
that's what I'm.
So he goes and he's like, I'm gonna go in the dark multiverse.
Superman's going.
Yeah. Oh, so Flash. This is what I love about this because I'm like, that's kind of dumb. So Flash asks them, "How did you know that he was in the dark multiverse?" And Superman says, "It was simple. Based on our names, if I was in trouble, I'd send out a DB for Diana and Bruce." So the Trinity was like, if there's ever shit's getting too heavy, I'll send you an SOS or something. And wherever we are in space and time, I'll try and get this message to you or whatever. He doesn't say that, but that's what that's
If
my.
you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting.
That's exactly what this is.
Time after time.
So Diana's call was BC for Bruce and Clark. Bruce's was CD. I get it, but Carpe Diem? I felt it, Barry. He was calling for help. So the Oblivion Bar gets destroyed. Joker, this is where we find out that music plays a factor into this story because they...
Are there actual...
when Batman Who Laughs torches Oblivion Bar, he
Breaking
tells
the law,
Dawnbreaker,
breaking
he goes,
the
hey,
law.
go play this on the jukebox.
What is it? What does he play on the jukebox?
It doesn't say. It's just music notes.
That's so... Come on.
But here's
Come
what happens.
on.
So here's what happens.
Breaking the law.
As that's happening,
You just hit F9.
Batman looks a lot older because it looks like they've been sucking out his life force. So he goes, "I warned you," and Bruce goes,
Rolling
"Bruce."
Stones.
He goes, Superman goes, "Bruce, I heard your call. You said the code, words, images, the music. Clark, I tried to tell you, Diana, Dick, through the music." The only way to communicate across the multiverse, vibrations, and the notes of the song our sons played, start D, then C. Na 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 na. You know, the reverse of my code. It was a warning, Clark. I was saying, don't come here. Bruce, how the fuck would Clark know that? How would Clark? Because I'm sorry, Tyler, you're a musician, right? Tell me how that doesn't make sense. Because you're gonna really lay that out with C and D, right? Tell me how that doesn't make sense.
I would just write a song saying, "Don't fucking come here." Just don't fucking do it.
Why do we need to be cryptic, Bruce?
Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Well, sending a fucking message through
This
the
is
ether
like a
is fucking
prog-
hard.
This is like a prog rock. This is like a prog metal band making like a 9-minute. This is like Dream Theater being like, "We're going to the cast," and it's about like his like mom or something. And it's like, oh, you could have done that in like 2 or 3 minutes. No, just don't fucking come here. You better not
Well, shit,
fucking go.
shit, Bruce. If we're already establishing that you're being able to communicate.
Shit, so please don't
But
come
no,
and
that
get
doesn't
me.
work. That doesn't work because he would only hear the vibrations. Vibrations is the only way to communicate to the multiverse.
Take the fucking gum and
Yeah,
Dude,
you'd have
it
to play to
wasn't-
the notes.
See, it
Take
wasn't.
the fucking gum and
It wasn't. No. It was nah. Like nah, bro. Nah.
No, don't come here.
Nah.
stupid way of them bringing that stupid
Yes.
fucking theme song
And
in.
it's
Fuck you. That
I'm
seemed.
the one
That
who
theme
called,
slaps.
I'm the one who's called Batman 66 #1 on our movie list. Remember that?
yeah.
Like a
Shit
douche.
slaps, brother.
Shit slaps.
Do you
brother.
ever remember?
I have a bomb in my hands.
Just a quick aside from this, because who knows when I'm gonna. We're close. We're like halfway through.
Jesus.
We're over halfway. I'm fucking with you. And I can get through the rest of it because the rest of it's pretty quick.
Na Batman. Ka-chow.
I was checking out at a store and my son had a Spider-Man shirt on.
Nice.
And they didn't sing like the Spider-Man song you would think. They sang the oldest
Spider-Man.
not that one. Spider-Man, Nobody Knows Who You Are. Remember that one?
No.
Spider-Man, no one knows who you are. Have you heard that one? Oh,
no.
man, that's
I think somebody made up a song and they were
no,
like,
I've heard it before though. I'd heard it before that
Ah.
in my dreams
in my dreams.
because Bruce
'Cause
Wayne
even, like,
because
the
Bruce
fif-
Wayne
even,
played
like,
me a
the
song.
first
Rum
cartoon,
diggy
like the
diggy, rum
60s, 70s
diggy diggy.
cartoon.
In my dreams, Paul, I had this song.
Spider-Man
Or
and
it
his
should have been
amazing
enough
friends.
that like the Batman song should have been a thing. Like doing
that I drew
doing the
Spider-Man the way
CD or
that
the
I
DC thing, it's like that's
'Cause I
so
only
silly
had a red
because
and
like
blue
how notes
marker.
work. What the fuck are you saying?
And because
If
the
you-
printers wouldn't
as
print the
somebody-
color of ink,
as
I had
somebody-
to change it.
Oh, Stan Lee?
As somebody who didn't
This is a DC book.
Excelsior.
Get out of here.
Excelsior. Also, have you seen my mustache?
Hello, true believers.
Tonight on
True believers.
Tonight on Crossing Over.
I wanted to make
Christ.
I wanted to make a superhero who kids could relate to.
Oh, also the
Because he's a kid
the
himself.
reason
He's
the reason
a kid himself
forgot to mention the
with
reason that
kid problems.
the reason that Barbados is upset or
But he's
obsessed.
also
Would you shut up? The reason that Barbados
Barbados.
son of a bitch. The reason that Barbados is obsessed with Earth Zero or the main DC universe is because the Rock of Eternity is actually the heart of the multiverse.
If I worked for DC, this is the Justice League that I would write.
It's called Reimagined by Stan Lee, featuring a cavalcade of today's best artists.
Here's the gambit, though, because we're dealing with Bruce.
Gambit.
Because mon ami.
Rogue.
Because of we're dealing with Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
There's more to this story. There's more to this whole Superman showing up in the dark multiverse than meets the eye.
We could call it the Dultiverse.
The Dultiverse. So also in this confrontation, there's a couple Supermen who come up and we're like, "Hey, Bruce, come on, it's time to die.
Can I see it?
You served your purpose. What was the purpose? Oh, hold on, I'll let you see in a second. I want to get to this part." And he goes, the purpose. And what do you mean? The whole point for him, for when Batman's saying don't come here, the reason why Batman said don't come here is because they knew, Barbados knew that Clark was going to come after Bruce and try and find him in the dark multiverse, and that was his fucking plan, because Superman is the missing piece to the battery that will power the battery that will pull the Earth into the dark multiverse. So Batman just lured Superman into a trap, and guess what? That's a running theme in this book. Everybody keeps getting pulled into traps. And then he takes a glove that looks like the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's all the kryptonite. Yeah. And he punches him because he's like, one of these will work. And so Superman is about to get put into the battery, but then he remembers what Dream told him when he had a conversation with Dream earlier, when he says, when all hope is lost and you see the black sun, call to me. So he goes, Dream, help me out. So Dream is not affected by this because Dream operates in a different realm than like the multiverse and all that stuff. So he pulls him out, and then they have their little conversation.
It's upside down.
Yeah, Superman was getting...
The book is upside down.
Oh. Yeah, it's sad how many pages it took me to realize that. So then we cut to the Rock of Eternity.
This art is so wow.
They cut to the Rock of Eternity. So you remember the Shazam movies where like the 7 sins were in that first one? Sure. So they show up in this, and Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate are fighting them, and Kendra's fighting them, and then I love how quippy. By the gods, Kendra, the only true mistake we can make is not trusting each other. You need to open, and as she does it, she just rips open this monster's head. You need to open up. I'm like, haha. So that's happening.
Quip.
Deathstroke and Aquaman are diving down Atlantis. Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Plastic Egg show up, and they're trying to convince the Thanagar.
Plastic Egg? What?
Yeah.
Plastic Man.
You said Plastic Egg.
Yeah, I did, because he's shaped like an egg.
He became an egg for whatever reason.
Because you were too busy looking at Murder Machine. I explained it already. Play it back. Omnimar Sin is the current ruler of Thanagar, and he said, I know about the Dark Multiverse in Barbados. I rigged up this cannon to shoot at Earth to fuck up Barbados. And they're like, okay. And then they take, but then why then?
Why do they have a Starro?
Starro shows up to help because he cut a deal with Barbados, because all the villains cut deals with Barbados. This is comic books, people. And this is actually really clever, and I like this a lot. So they capture Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific, and as that's happening, before I even get to the panel of the book, I'm like, well, I need Green Lantern just make a fucking construct and get out of it. And he can't, because Starro is a telepath, and Starro is fucking up his thoughts. So Starro is going in there and not allowing him to have a clear thought.
See,
anytime he tries to make
write shit to be like, we already thought of that.
Yeah, because I was thinking that too.
Thought of that.
So yeah, that's why he can't make constructs. I'm like, that's such a cool thing, and I'm sure it's been done before, but I like that. Like the way that Starro could fight him was just like, hey, I'm gonna mess with your head, so you can't be like, I have no willpower, So then Bruce and Dream are like in this little labyrinth library of all the dreams and stuff, and then he kind of shows that in the constellations of all the evil Batman and stuff, Dream basically says, from the dark came a great spark of molten potential. The spark created 2 opposing existences, matter and antimatter, which is all... DC fucking loves Anti-Monitor and Antimatter so much. With them came the brothers.
Why doesn't it just marry him?
So anyway, what he just says is like, you need to go to the World Forge, because the World Forge is going to have the metal you need to fight. And they're like, but he goes, hey, if the core of the World Forge is black, you're fucked. There's no going back. The multiverse is going to happen.
Dark multiverse.
Yes. So what's happening? Oh yeah. So they find a piece of nth metal.
Where are we?
And
What's happening
They
with
go
you?
to the Rock of Eternity,
What?
and Kendra takes out a brain.
What's going
A
on?
brain, you say? What brain? It's the astral brain of the Anti-Monitor.
I read about that. Also, she hanging.
Yeah. So she
What?
Kendra, if it's pure Anti-Monitor, passes through the multiverse center, and it's the dark multiverse, it could blow up the whole dark once and for all. So she thinks that the Anti-Monitor's brain is going to help.
Well, it is made
And
of
they go to
antimatter.
stop her, and they stop her. They also find out
The
that along the way, she was infected by the darkness, and she becomes Lady Blackhawk.
Somebody gets infected by the darkness.
Oh, I did mention. I want to mention that when Barbados shows up, there is like this like hold that he has over people that kind of makes him like demonic looking. That's why like all of them look kind of.
He's such a dick.
So Wonder Woman's trying to fight, and then Black Adam. So then Black Adam shows up, and we're like, well, we got Dr. Fate. It'll happen. No, Black Adam shows up and fucking evaporates him. Just gone. Like you see the smoke coming out of his helmet.
Okay, why?
Because Black Adam made a deal with Barbados, brother. So now we are at.
Tell me again why Dwayne Johnson wanted so bad to bring the story of Black Adam to the screen.
So
Once and for all.
We're almost to the end here. So we get to the. I know it doesn't look like it, but we're almost there because I can brush through the rest of it because it's pretty action packed. So we go to the Forge of the Worlds, where the World Forge is, and why do we have those two names? Sometimes comic books overthink themselves with titles.
No.
So they go to the World Forge, and guess
Nobody
what?
overthought this.
We're fucked. It's black.
Yeah.
Of course.
And also, we want to
Who
point
didn't
out
see that
in this
coming?
story, Barbados had a great dragon. It not necessarily,
He had a great dragon
Barbados-
and an okay dragon.
in
The
this-
great dragon.
exactly, pretty much. So the Dark Multiverse, there's the prophecy of that Barbados used to be what they called a dragon, and dragon was a title. He protected the person who controlled the World Forge, and he usurped them. And he became Barbados, the bat god that we know, and he got a new dragon. Who's his dragon? Motherfucking Carter Hall. And honestly, I love it. When I read that, I was like, holy
That
shit.
is kind of cool. But he had a great dragon, an okay dragon, and an
And he even had a Joker dragon.
and an absolutely shitty dragon. That's what made me laugh so hard.
Oh, and so, you know how we tied it to vibrations in music? Stop it. We start the
Can we
fifth.
see the
was-
fucking
I will
Hawkman
hand-
dragon?
It's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So the next issue starts with Barbados opening his mouth and screaming, and he's playing his song to create the vibrations to keep pulling Earth to the dark multiverse.
Why didn't they use the spelling of the Cotter Hall? Katarhol.
I don't know.
That's how his name is spelled in Thanagarian.
So
Carter Hall is
So,
his earthly
Superman and Bruce are fighting Carter Hall.
thing. Oath of convenience.
Aquaman and Deathstroke show up at the Atlantis where they needed to. Green Lantern manages to find this is what I love. Lock picket fence. Lock pickle. Damn it! And he's like Starro keeps fucking with his thoughts, so he can't actually form a construct. And then they see a guard pop up, and this is important to know. This guard pops up, and he's willing to help him, and you're like, why is he willing to help him? Because it's Martian Manhunter! Martian Manhunter shows up to save Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific.
Nice.
And Martian Manhunter had been kind of like gone somewhere in the fucking canon at this point, so here he is. Then we cut back to the Rock of Eternity where Black Hawk, Black Adam, Lady Blackhawk, Black Adam, and Wonder Woman are fighting. And they keep fighting, and then... There it is.
Black Hawk.
It's important. The reason they're having this huge fight is because they found Carter. They have Carter Hall's mace because Batman had Carter Hall's mace and that had an nth metal in it. So yeah, Carter Hall is still fighting with Batman and Superman at the World Forge, and you will be returned to the Forge. Darkness, prepare yourselves. There is no retreat. Is what Carter Hall says. And like what? Wonder Woman sees or Batman didn't have it. They were going to get it. Sorry, and they got the mace. And she fights with Black Adam. Oh my God, this next scene is amazing. So she fights off Black Adam, hits him, knocks him out, and she says, before she does, I think you're trying to say Black Adam is holy Shazam, and she hits him. And then she goes, I can get used to this. And then, blam, gets shot in the fucking head. And as I was reading, I'm like, what the shit? And then you turn the page, she's not really dead. The bullets are made of the 8th metal, is what the Batman Who Laughs says, who shot her. As your invisible jet has on this earth, pretty much saying like 8th metal's the gods, 9th metal's oomph, or whatever. This isn't the end. Superman, Batman, my friends, they'll find a way. And then Batman Who Laughs said, she's down after he shot her. And he says, stop, just listen. You hear that people think birth is loud and death is silent? Things start with a bang and end with a whimper, but I'll tell you a secret. See, endings are the loudest of them all. And that's where we see Black Manta show up to attack Aquaman and Deathstroke. Black Manta, why would you do this? I made a deal with Barbados. So then they have their little fight. That's how it goes. So Martian Manhunter busted out, and also before Green Lantern says, what did he say? He said something about sticking his foot up Starro's ass. Let me see here. Oh, because this is important.
Is it?
I'm going to kick that space starfish's ass. And then Mr. Terrific said, technically he doesn't have an ass. And then Hal says, oh, believe me. What did he say? Oh, believe me, I'll find one, is what he said.
What the fuck?
So then we said, well, guess what?
I'll find a poop
We cut
shoot
to Green
of that
Lantern.
alien
We cut
creature.
to Green Lantern, and fucking Starro says, ow, that hurts. And he says, I told you he had one, is what Hal Jordan says. Come on. Laser in that dude's butthole, that's funny.
Shove someone in his butthole.
Oh, and I love how I just love the paneling of this. So we skip forward, and we see that tank that I was talking about earlier that the Thanagarians had aimed at Earth. Do you hear it now, Wonder Woman? This is what Batman Who Laughs says. All the pieces clicking into place. See, you and your friends just delivered your universe's last remaining pieces of oomph metal right to our hands, and they were far too dangerous for us to risk approaching themselves. So now the egg will power the reverse cannon, and it will will darken the core of the Earth. Then through this, the very mace you recovered, the Earth will be guided down through the portal and into the dark once and for all. Right now, your friends at the Forge are seeing it darken for good and making a leap of faith that will prove futile, because now the Earth will have sunk low enough that Barbados's cry will call forth the armies of the dark. While that's happening on the other side, Bruce and Clark jump into the World Forge, because Bruce says there's light in this forge. We just have to find it. Trust me, Clark. Let's go into the deep. And Clark's like, we're going to die if we go into the World Forge. And Batman's like, no, we're not, man. We're going to do this. So they go into the World Forge together.
We're going to do this, man, whether you like it or not, brother.
They just do a Thelma and Louise. And just
Yeah, they do. They literally are like holding hands and walking into the...
Aww.
So Lady Blackhawk saying it's over, Wonder Woman, and she says, never, you and I are not alone, and at the very least, I will make sure you see the truth. And as she says that, she's punched her in the face with the lasso of truth.
Nice.
I love it. Love it.
If you fell,
So
I
Wonder
will
Woman
catch
gets
you,
out of
I'll be
the
waiting.
Rock of Eternity tomb and goes out and just sees all this dark multiverse shit.
Oh, that's
happening.
cool. Cheetah.
Yeah, so Cheetah's Wonder...
Cheetah!
There's a Cheetah Wonder Woman.
I should write a song called Cheetah.
But yeah, they're fighting, and this
About
is
a
what
car.
this is what I love about Wonder Woman and how they did her story, because they said, like, this is your fate. You're going to die fighting. You're going to die fighting. And,
Probably.
and Batman Who Laughs and all these guys are like, I want to see you fight. You know? So she's like, I got to climb up, because Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific get back, and they're trying to the top of the mountain. She's trying to climb to the top of the mountain to reach them, and she's literally like inch for inch just fucking fighting every square inch of this mountain. And then we see this cool cover of Batman riding a Joker dragon, because that's the last issue. All right, so Barbatos, he's singing, he's doing his thing, death and destruction.
Barbatos is singing, and
But-
no.
God, I love shit like this.
Thanks.
So Lady
Thanks.
Blackhawk says, we need to find them, and then what? You keep banging your bracelets hoping they hear you, but even if you do, the Earth is sunken below the cosmic membrane. We're in the damn dark, is what Lady Blackhawk says.
The damn dark.
Yeah, but then she said, well, then she's like, use the mace. Clang the nth metal with the 8th metal. Use the mace. And she's like, And she goes, just play the damn note and hard, metal on metal, like an Amazon. And I'm like, fuck, man. Some lines in this book get me. And then she just goes, boom, like that. And all the members of the Justice League hear it. She says, hear me, come back and, come to Earth. We got to fight. And so, yeah, all the Justice League were like, yeah, fuck that. Let's go. And they're helping her and fighting and they're doing their thing. And Plastic Man finally emerges. It says, I'm going to fight all these dicks. And
Does he really say that?
no, he says, above all of the above. They're like, are you going to fight or not?
So tell me why he was an egg.
So meanwhile, where's Cyborg been? Oh, they've been doing their own thing.
Scared.
So Barbados.
He's scared.
He's hiding.
And also, when Bruce and Clark did that, you're seeing the darkness start to leave Carter Hall. And Barbados is pissed. And he's saying that, enough, my Dark Knights have conquered your world. They have waged war across the multiverse. And this is Barbados saying this. And then Cyborg shows up with Detective Chimp. And I don't know, he plays a part in this story somehow. And then Batman Red Sun, Batman when he became a vampire. I don't remember this Batman. And then the Dark Knight Returns Batman show up. So he just grabbed Multiverse Batman. We're like, hey, come on, help me fight Barbados. That's it. It's just for a cool fan service moment. You don't really see much else of them.
That's cool.
And then this is probably my favorite part. So Barbados is still like, it's pointless. So let it light. I let them hope. We are in my realm where all ends in darkness. I will create worlds to torture them for eternity. Who is truly foolish enough to believe they can win down here in the darkness? I can answer that. And it's the Trinity flying out of the forge in these brand new metal armor. What's metal is this? It's the 10th metal. It's metal.
Wow. Metal!
They say the 8th metal is the stuff of gods. The 9th uses dark energy to give its carrier powers that defy physics. But the 10th, also called Element X, Snyder kind of ran out of ideas on titles there, is metal of the so-called forge itself, the metal of pure possibility. They say whoever wields it, let the first words recorded forever in the halls of kings. And what does Batman say? This might sting, because he takes batarangs of this metal and thunk, throws them into the other members of the Justice League, gives them this fucking armor to go on this fight. And I'm like, God damn it, this book, there's so much shit going on, but then there's such cool shit. So then Carter Hall also does his own little prophecy, or continues the cycle, as he fights Barbados because the corruption stopped. And then we have one final fight between Batman Who Laughs and Batman. And then you see something that I'm like, okay, this is fan servicey, but all right, we're already at this point, right? So he says, Batman Who Laughs has got Batman down, got the gun against his head, pulls the hammer back. He says, you're the setup, I'm the punchline. Get it now? And Batman says, just fire the damn gun. And he's like, I'm glad you finally see. Blam! It's a bang sign. Motherfucking Joker shows up to help Batman fight the Batman Who Laughs. And you know what? It's kind of perfect, because he says, ha, the Batman who talks is more like it. Still, I do like this cave better. And he's like laughing. And then he says, he says, so partners, bats? And he goes, I'm going for the leg. And he has the batarangs Batman does. And Joker says, I'll go for the face. And they start fighting. And Joker has meat cleavers in the shape of bats, by the way. Because they're meat cleavers, but they're fighting, or no, they're straight razors. And he says, "Do you now? Tell me then. You've heard this one before. There's this guy, see, and he prepares for everything. Well, almost, because the trick is he can only prepare for things Batman thinks up. And what's the one thing Batman probably never imagined? Fighting alongside me." So that's how Joker helps Batman stop the Batman Who Laughs. So they fight, they kill him, and then the story ends in the most anticlimactic way, in my opinion. I get the messaging. It's a sweet message.
How does it end?
But so Carter Hall kills Barbados in their fight, and to rebuild rebuild everything, all the members of the Justice League get together in like a prayer circle.
And they do the Stephen King it.
Yep.
and have this weird sex
Because
sexcapade.
Yep, they fuck. Because this is a metal that is potential, and you can will anything with it, right? Almost like a Green Lantern thing, right? So they all lock their hands together in a kumbaya circle, and it's them giving everybody that was strapped into the battery life again, everybody that was like all weird and possessed and everything, and they literally rebuild everything back to the way it was by willing into an existence as a group. And so yeah, that's it. That's the end of the book.
That's so tough.
So like the entire story didn't mean anything.
No.
So it's a lot like Flashpoint.
And this is what kills me, because in this beginning of this book, I feel like some of that, what you were talking about, is why Snyder didn't really want to do it in the first place. And then he eventually decided, like, he's like, if I'm going to do it, this is what I want to do. But he just, yeah, he even says, like, I don't really like to do events. And it was like, he was approached by DC, Dan Dido, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. And he pretty much was like, hey, do you want to do a DC event? And he was like, not really. And then,
Not really, you fick.
and then they kind of, but he's like, if I were going to do it, this is what I do. And then he kind of pitched the idea, and they went from there. It's just all this. It's just, the problem I had with it was, all this build up with Barbados, and then you have a fight with him and Carter wins, and everything goes back to normal. And then Snyder sets it up for the next person of like, there's a wave of there's all these, but you don't understand. See, now we always thought of like the 52 multiverses. Now there's even more than that, because we've opened up this new doorway, and there's nothing's been really closed. Essentially saying like, hey, if you want to do dark multiverse stories, and they fucking did, like, the door's always open. And at that time, DC was shelling out dark multiverse books too, and it's like, I think that's really the problem I have with events, of like, it just doesn't. Are there some that are impactful? Yeah, like Secret Wars is impactful to a certain extent, and like the original Final Crisis is impactful, or Infinite. But like, you continue to devalue events when you keep just showing me that for one, you both are corporations, but you're just showing me, oh, we've got to reset status quo.
Well,
everybody's bored. Nobody's buying the book, so now we got to reset status quo, and create a new crisis.
Well, like the Avengers, that thing that I was following, that whole, I can't remember what the event was called, but Avengers Assemble or something. It was what's his name's last gasp on the book, and I showed you all that stuff. And about 10 minutes ago, I was like, that's exactly like this. Like, it's Marvel centric. But it just kind of felt like there was just so much, like, thickness to get through. Like, well, now there's Alfred. There's Nano Alfreds. Like, what?
I know, and I apologize.
But
I know it's a lot.
There wasn't much impactful about that whole crossover, except for Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider gets stuck at the end of time.
Yeah, and this one just brings back Carter Hall.
And they also get rid of Avengers Mountain.
Brings back Carter Hall, and then, it kind of sets the whole dark multiverse.
Where was Carter Hall?
He was the dragon for Barbados.
Yeah, but where was he before that?
Hell.
Lost in time. He was lost in the dark multiverse, and then when he got lost in the dark multiverse, Barbados turned him into the dragon.
I love how my
The great dragon.
I just spent an hour plus explaining.
I love how the answers are like, what are you, fucking stupid?
So this
Luke,
is-
what are your
this
thoughts?
is
What are your
the-
thoughts?
This is the Batman who laughs. Is it Bruce Timm that was like had the weird obsession with Batgirl and Batman getting together?
Yes.
Must have been,
I'm honestly,
right? 'Cause
honestly,
it
I'm
was
surprised that he
the
hadn't written the
killing
Batman who
joke.
fucks.
Batman who fucks.
Just laying pipe throughout existence.
Here's a 15-minute prequel to the animated Killing Joke that is completely unnecessary.
That's what I'm talking about.
we
Like-
talked about that on the Batcast back in
Dude,
the day.
because he
Yeah.
did that. He did that
I
in the
hated
animated
that.
series when he had the
Yeah,
Batman.
because in
animated
the
series.
Batman Beyond, there's an implication that Barbara hooked up with Bruce in that show.
Yeah, because there's a whole thing of Terry talking to Commissioner Gordon, which is Barbara, and they're having this whole thing about how Babs has a falling out with Bruce because they tried to date after Nightwing broke up with her. Yeah.
So
And it's really dark and weird and gross. It's
Dark
like
and
he used to
weird.
be like a father figure, but then we fucked, and then
All the
Like, what?
time.
So Luke and
like,
I-
we boned.
Luke and I
they said the patrol got weird because they were not focusing on the mission because
So-
they were just plowing each other.
So Luke and I, we used to do Drawn to DC. For me, I've been reading a lot of DC books. We did the Red Lantern show for this, and like we did Space Age for our other show. I don't know. As someone who is like me, really into the DC shit, what I know you probably should like. Again, by the way, read these books. Don't just listen to me kind of going through
my
an
problem,
overview of
though,
them.
is I stopped reading comic books a while ago because there's so many different reboots,
It's expensive as
rewrites,
fuck,
and
too.
yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, we had a whole topic about
One
that.
issue is $5.
Yeah, we did it. We did a whole.
What's a sandwich, dude? I gotta eat.
Yeah, most comics are $3 to $4, and then if you get like Dark Age, we were Batman Dark Age, where it's like $7, but that's a longer issue. But for 22 pages, you're investing $3 to $4, and then a lot of the times, unless you know it's going to be a landmark issue, it's like a TV show. It's just that little filler.
It's a filler.
Yeah.
It's a filler issue.
Because and we kind of talked a lot about that too, and that's what I was experiencing reading this, and even telling it to you guys, and I kept laughing because I had to backtrack and explain other things. It is needlessly convoluted because DC and Marvel both, whenever they do all these tie-ins and shit, all they want is to be like, and I get what you're saying, like, hey, at least those writers and artists got work. That's great, but it's just at the same time, what is it all for? Why not
The
take
consumer, the
why
reader
not?
and the consumer are fucked ultimately.
Why not? Yeah, why not take their talents, take that time, and put it on something they actually want to do and something they're actually good at?
That's why independent comics are awesome.
Yeah, that's why my
And
bookshelf
I don't
has more
like being
indie
a
books.
Marvel shill. Here's the thing, though. I did get everything that you were talking about, though. Like, I'm well versed enough in the DC universe to understand like most of what the fuck you were talking about,
Yeah.
and it intrigued me. I do like the idea of all the different Batmen. They kind of touched on different Supermen. I do like.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this. One of the Superman was dressed like the Dark Knight Returns Batman armor.
I do like that kind of crossover.
Like if he killed
type
Batman.
stuff. Like, why the fuck not? Right?
Also, one of them looks like
It's
Lex Luthor.
How many times during this thing did you say "fuck you" comics?
I did a lot. Yeah.
Why can't we have more of that? Why can't we have a Dakin in Marvel right now has the spirit of the Ghost Rider? It's derivative, right? Oh, a Ghost Rider, Wolverine, whatever, right? Why don't we give him a Punisher one too? Because his flame will set off all the
I got the
guns on him.
I got
all the time.
I got the Grant Morrison Green Lantern run.
But why can't we do this?
The last run that he did, and I haven't read it yet. But every time I've heard about it, it is this psychedelic, weird fucking book, and
Right.
I'm like, yeah, because it's Grant Morrison, and we need shit like that. Like we need something. Because I mean, look, I love Green Lantern. He's like got to be up there with Batman, my favorite DC characters. Yeah. But you can only fight a yellow lantern or a red lantern or a blue lantern or a fucking Sienta fucking, or that's not a color. You know what I mean? You can only fight a colored lantern for so long.
So, but that's the thing is like a lot of superheroes, and Marvel is like the epitome of this. Is like a lot of heroes only fight the opposite of them or the same as them. Like every single fucking Marvel movie up until the end game was just the opposite. You got fucking Yellow Jacket. You got fucking not War Machine, but fucking what's his name?
Monger. Or Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash. And then you have fucking Red Skull. Bucky, essentially, for half the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same fucking shit.
And you know, that's what I mean. Is like
That's why Spider-Man is
Loki and Thor.
That's why guys like Spider-Man and Batman and Superman and whatnot. That's why the Rogues Galleries are so great.
But
because
they have so much variety.
Like Spider-Man and the Rhino. That's not an opposite.
What about
Spider-Man
Scorpion?
and Dr. Octopus. That's not. I mean,
what about Scorpion? That's an arachnid.
The big one is Spider-Man and
different
Vulture.
arachnid.
Is if you want to talk about like opposites.
We got and then. Yeah.
Obviously, we got Superman and Doomsday at this point. Who was it before Doomsday? Superman and Bizarro? Nah, Bizarro was just kind of throwaway character.
Bizarro's more of a comedy.
Luthor is not really. I mean, it's his arch enemy, but he's not super powered.
Brainiac.
Brainiac, I suppose, would be like the. But Batman. Who's Batman's?
So many.
Joker, right? Joker's unpredictable and crazy and nuts, and Bruce Wayne is rich and organized, and he knows exactly how to make a souffle
Yeah.
without looking at the box.
But
man.
the DC,
He's a complex mind.
the
Renaissance
Snyder
man.
fan of me, and the DC fan of me is like, I like so much of this book, but then the ending.
DC's really like into the purple and
I
green though.
like the Bat family shit. Like, do you remember that? Like the Bat. There was a book out. It was
Batman Who Fucks.
was it?
Can't stop
I'm
thinking
telling
about
you, man. Bruce
How is
Timm,
that not a
the
porn
Batman who
parody?
fucks.
It was called
It
Batman.
probably
I think it was
There's
called
got to be a dude in
Batman.
a Joker mask.
It was called Batman Incorporated. It was during the New 52. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, that was a Morrison book.
That was
Batman Inc.
Yeah, that was an interesting book. Because it was like, hey, what if we franchise Batman? Like, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on Batman. What the fuck is this? 18 issues of $9 comic books.
Dude, the worst part is I don't hate the message of this book.
What is the message?
The message of the book is in your
As
most
Luke
vulnerable
milks a
times,
cow.
it's okay to rely on others. It's okay you trust your friends, believe in your
But as
friends
long
for a
as you
reason.
have an imagination, you can create.
Yeah, but
Long as you got imagination,
and also,
you can
it's also
still
saying that
create.
even in the darkest times, your friends can pull you out. Your friends
Don't make me
and,
sing
and
that.
make you believe.
We're gonna be the imagination station, and we're gonna do infomercial type stuff for kids.
But
That's our theme
I did
song.
want to point out that he does kind of lay out the groundwork for like future DC story. Like
Well, look,
because when he said he must have talked to Morrison a lot during this, because when he says we didn't rewind the universe to what it was before Barbados attack, we rebuilt it. In doing so, we also created new things forged from our own subliminal desires. Subliminated.
Oblivion.
But he mentions Dark Stars, and that the Dark Stars stuff shows up in Morrison's Green Lantern.
Stars, yeah, is a
But I don't
super
even
team.
think that Green Lantern book is in continuity, and that's the problem. And I've said this for a long time. And it's like, I get something like Dark Knight's Metal, and this is what he kind of said. This is the live by the sword, die by the sword of DC events, and we can wrap up this episode. It is.
DC events are famous
just
for
comic books in
trying so hard to make. Like, they had this one called Millennium back in the day. They had one called.
But the problem is they're cornerstones. They're cornerstones in the canon. They're cornerstones in the continuity, so you remember it. Because you're like, oh, I wasn't really reading that book at that time, but man, when that crisis happened, I read it.
Yeah.
And so, but it creates that, and they know that because they create that event, they create that moment, and then they start making all the tie-ins, and then you got to read all the tie-ins, and then, and like you said, just on cost. But let's look at time. Who the fuck has time to every week read like 7 books to get one story? Go fuck yourself. Tell me one story.
Dude, yeah. if I'm reading that at all, I'm buying Dark Knight's Metal 1 through 6, and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't give
I'm
a
not,
fuck
yeah,
about the tie-ins.
I would
dude.
buy this,
If
the
it's a-
hardcover. I wouldn't buy anything else.
But
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
And that's how I read comics, and that's how I choose to read comics, because I'm just like, okay, I'm going to find a writer I like and read their run, or I'm going to find
in
this,
hindsight-
this trade and read that.
In hindsight, like in the 90s, like comics have always tried so hard to be like, this means something, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys.
Batman died.
Look, yeah, Superman died. Okay, but then he came back. Batman.
Doc
got
Ock
his-
is in Peter Parker's body.
Yeah. They try so hard, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Superior
right?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, no,
Famously, in 1991, DC tried this
fuck?
crossover called Armageddon 2001. And
God.
you know about this? Their whole thing was like they were going to make a hero of the DC universe permanently a bad guy.
Oh,
The plan was for Captain Atom. Okay, the silver dude, right?
yes.
And
I love Captain.
Which makes a lot of sense as why he would be a villain.
somehow,
Nuclear bomb.
like a preview got out to somebody and it got reported. So they're fucked because before even the first issue of the story comes out, before that even comes out, everybody knows it's Captain Atom. So they're like, shit, what do we do? They ended up reworking it so it turns out to be Hawk from Hawk and Dove.
Ooh.
But in hindsight, think about it like this. Eventually, Hawk does become a good guy again. And eventually, Superman came back. And eventually, Batman's back healed. Like, I appreciate books that don't necessarily say, hey, this is going to change everything forever. I appreciate the books that say, hey, this is a new way to look at this character, like Superman Space Age. Great book because it's a reason to. It's a way to look at Superman differently.
And personally, I think DC will always be better at Marvel at that. I think DC will always have that distinct identity over Marvel. Where excuse me, they'll do more. Like Marvel will do like one-off, like what ifs and shit. But DC will go and make a whole line like Earth 1 that is completely its own canon that was created by modern writers for a modern audience, you know.
I'm cool with that too.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you don't see
then you
that
just
a lot.
Follow your favorite character and like,
hold
okay,
on,
well,
hold on.
Take on your favorite character.
I got a point. Yeah. You saw that with the Ultimate line, then they killed it, and then they brought it back. But you don't see like full like Space Age where it's a fully self-contained story. It's in its own like you don't really see that much with Marvel. Marvel itself is like grand scheme, you know. But I think DC has always been better at reinventing its characters. But
dude,
too many times.
Hawk from the Titan series was Alan Richardson. Yeah, that shit was fucking phenomenal. Well, the show was shit, but the best part of it was Hawk and Dove.
God, man,
that whole storyline.
Who's Dove?
Some
chick.
She's hot.
Luke.
Yeah.
We should.
But they started out with him and his brother, and then he gets hit by a car and dies. And then they get together in a whatever meeting,
Sex.
and they're like, you know what? Let's have sex and not drink, but fight crime at the same time because it's hot.
Yeah, Hawk
I'm
and
into
Dove. Yeah,
no,
I'm hard just thinking about
that whole like thing is messed up because like when he was in like middle school, being the football star and shit, and the PE coach or the coach and shit. No, he saves his brother from being molested.
Okay.
Because he's been doing it.
Because
he knows how to take care of the coach. So he tells his brother to get the fuck out, and he just puts in extra time of getting fucked by the coach, and then eventually him and Dove go and murder that dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why did that Titan show feel the need to be fucking edgy?
Dude, because I don't know, but that show was good.
Seriously,
I enjoyed the
Why
show.
did you throw that in? Like, hey,
casting was pretty shitty. It was obviously a TV budget because they were trying to do Trigon and all this fucking
on a TV budget.
Yeah, and it was
What's
part of
Trigon?
it was good because Raven was the main Raven was the main story.
Okay,
we'll do a separate Modern Mythology on that. But Trigon is a demon in the DC universe. He is the dad of Raven.
Oh yeah, I know.
And she's supposed to be the doorway to the underworld, and then on her 18th birthday or whatever,
he's like Mephisto.
He takes over her
so
body.
She's magic,
and then she opens up the
she's
ether.
from like that, like this other realm thing. I don't.
Trigon.
Velasco.
You know what we should do? We should do a
no, but I'm just saying like
series retro.
Alan Richardson's is an underrated.
We should do a Modern Mythology with you because you've seen all of it, haven't you?
Titans?
Yeah.
Should
do a Modern Mythology where you try to explain like a season by season.
Well, I mean, see, and for me,
yeah, you'd have to like have Wikipedia.
And this was before children. This was before children.
Well,
for me, when I would get into a show, and I liked it a lot, to prepare for the new season, I would wait for it to be completely. If it wasn't like Netflix where it was already out, I would wait for the last episode to be out, and I would start at season 1 and start over and watch the whole show.
Yeah.
To get prepped for the new season, and then I watched the whole season in like a night. I'd get real fucked up and watch it, and I'd enjoy the shit out of it. Luckily, there was only like 3 or 4 seasons of Titans.
You had a couple edibles to watch it.
But when Arrow was on, I loved that show, and I would literally go back to season 1 and watch all like 9 seasons and prep for the next one because I liked it so much.
Weren't they like hour-long, 24-episode seasons?
Yeah. Yes.
He didn't have a lot.
I have a problem. And it was me staying up all night and watching like almost a season.
Yeah,
in 2 days.
You were way more into Arrow than I was.
Well,
because it was
good.
good.
DC, I'm into Marvel. I wanted to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I couldn't even do that because it's like,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is shit.
No, I mean
one of the it ruins the idea of the Avengers. The whole reason the Avengers rally together.
Well,
yes, Folk Coulson still won.
They established that as a separate timeline or whatever. But the only thing that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did right was the Inhumans. And also, not like that show, and also they had the best live-action representation of Ghost Rider ever.
Oh, they did Robbie Reyes, but they cut his episode short because it cost too much.
Yeah.
All right, well,
but MCU, take note, motherfuckers.
Take note of it. Well, what did we learn today, everybody?
I learned
friendship can repair everything.
Friendship
Dark
can
Knight's
really
metal.
fuck up a bunch of shit.
You can do anything if you can imagine it,
Imagine.
because you're only gay.
Just imagine.
You're only as gay as your imagination.
That's cool.
Because of rainbows?
It's beautiful.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
Happy.
your brain is the one that's telling you,
You know,
to
gaming.
do
Hey,
shit.
Hey, gay
gaming is
doesn't mean-
happy too, man.